The world is in a pretty obvious state of change, whether you're aware of it through the news or if your nervous system has been telling you lately, hey, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. Hey, I'm feeling a little unsafe. Hey, I'm feeling a little agitated, overwhelmed, anxious. Our bodies, especially those that are empathic, more sensitive to their surroundings, are really been feeling that uncomfortable feeling in the last maybe 4 to 6 weeks, maybe also building up to this year, and maybe your whole life. And what I'm talking about today, one of my favorite things, the ultimate game changer, especially for empaths, is grounding. And so in this video today, I'm going to talk about what is grounding. You've probably heard this term, especially if you're kind of on that spiritual path. What is grounding? Why is it so important, especially for nervous system regulation, clarity, empowerment? And what are easy ways that you can tap into it today with me right now, or even after this video, to really reclaim your life, to reclaim that power, and to reclaim that sense of authority for you, your destiny, your purpose, and why you are here? Do you allow the waves of the great changing world to allow you to flounder, or are you actually going to become more anchored in it and really walking your path of truth and being that leader, beacon, guide for the others around you? Grounding is the key. I'm Hannah Saunders. I'm a psychic medium channel. I work with people around the world to reclaim their sense of empowerment, to reclaim their authority in their life, and to live a life that feels so soul satiating and aligned with who they are. Okay, so what is grounding? For me, the simplest way to put it is it's coming back home to you, bringing that awareness within you to then be able to stabilize, to anchor, to feel more centered. So many empaths that I read psychically, that I have as friends and as me, because I'm an empath, there can be this tendency to allow your awareness to be drifting around you, almost like this. Like if my little remote here is, many people have their awareness outside of them. And when your awareness is outside of you, people tend to be overwhelmed easily, tend to be anxious, tend to be more reactive, tend to get really overwhelmed. And when you allow your awareness to drift back into you, back in here, there's a sense of safety and security that returns. So for me, and again, it is coming back home to you. And again, that meaning bringing your awareness from floating out here, sensing everything around you, because that's probably what you've done as an empath. You read the room, you read everyone that's going on around you, so you can create a sense of safety. But it's interesting because it actually has a backward effect. When you're constantly outside of yourself, trying to sense danger, trying to sense what's around you, you actually don't have as much of that centering, and you don't then have as much clarity. So to allow yourself to come back in, you're able to become more grounded and more centered. And for me, it's a two-part thing that I really feel. It's this first part of okay, bringing my awareness back into me, maybe bringing it into my breath, or bringing it into the hips where your root chakra is. It's an energetic center. It represents your safety, security, well-being. It's that home place in our bodies, the base of us. Really connecting to that part. Okay, so you can be centered within you. You have a grounding point within you, whether it's your breath, your heart, your root. Okay, you're connected back. And then the second part is so important. It's almost like if you saw a ship kind of moving through the ocean, through all these waves that we're experiencing in 2025 through 2028. It's like seeing that ship who has an anchor down to the ocean floor. That ocean floor is bigger than that boat. It's more stabilized, has a greater capacity to hold that ship. So yeah, maybe there's a little bit of fluidity, but it's not this fully getting slushed around like maybe you feel currently right now with our current atmosphere of the world. So it's that sense for me, that second part of grounding into something, anchoring into something bigger than you. Whether it's connecting to the earth through hiking, whether it's connecting into, water, whatever it is that feels bigger than you. For me, there's that second part of anchoring into something else to help in that stabilization of you, your body, your systems. So again, for me, grounding is coming back home to you, bringing your awareness from the outside of you, bring it back into you, and then be able to feel that grounding within, and more easily being able to then connect to something bigger, which can really hold you through the waves of life, especially as an empath here. Okay, so why is grounding so important? especially in this year of 2025. There's two main kind of umbrellas that I want to speak to about this. One is the obvious, which is there's a lot of dismantling of things that we've known. There's a lot of this unpredictable things changing. A lot of the nervous systems are like moving through the roof right now. There's a lot of people, I don't feel safe, I don't feel secure. So for me, when you learn to bring your awareness back in, even if there's chaos going in at work, in your partnership, around you in the world, there's that sense of, okay, I'm back within. Your physical body senses when your awareness is back inside. And it's almost like when that child that's crying and that parent that comes to them attentively say, hey, I'm with you. That child is able to like breathe and begin to regulate. Your nervous system is like that child. And when we're with it, we can downshift. And when we're able to downshift our nervous system to become more into a balanced state, not in fight, flight, or freeze, the beautiful effect here is allowing our clarity, that vision, that psychic eye, the clarity of our life, the clarity of decisions we need to make is able to come on way more. Think about if like you're in a time of kind of chaos or overwhelm, we kind of get these like tunnel visions, and it's a lot harder to see truthfully of, do I actually need to address this person or the situation right now or not? It makes it a lot more harder to understand what do we need to address, which direction we need to move that most supports us when we're in a kind of closed state from fight, flight, or freeze. So when we become more regulated in our nervous systems, we become more grounded with ourselves, again, that clarity opens up. And it's like, you know what? Not as a big deal. So nervous system regulation equating to greater clarity is so important for this year, where I really feel like we're being challenged of, what's going on, where are we going, how do we stay true to ourselves. And the other thing that feels important, this other umbrella, is more people are awakening to their intuitive gifts, their psychic abilities, just kind of leveling up in their consciousness. And there's something that feels so important about the more you can ground, the higher frequency healing you can bring through your body for your own healing, and also to bring it to others. You can bring higher level epiphanies into your life. You can bring higher level insights into your world. It's almost like we can only channel in as much as we can also ground in. So someone might have, kind of these awakenings happening right now, or these desires to be more connected to their higher self, or whatever it may be. But if there's such a focus of up here in these like higher channels, and you're not paying attention to, oh, am I grounded? Oh, do I feel safe in my body? The body's not going to allow as much in as you can possibly do. And so there's this really interesting nudge for my guides, the divine, of like, hey, everyone, in order to naturally support these kind of awakenings you're experiencing, can you really meet yourself, and how safe and grounded do you feel? How much are you spending time to like hike, move your body, ways that make you feel connected to you? And that, really importantly, is going to allow people to do their work more sustainably. A lot of psychics that I see, or other people who are really kind of awakening earlier on this path, there can be such this excitement to like dive all in and to channel and do these things that people sometimes can burn out, and really burn out. And whether we're talking about psychic gifts awakening for you, or intuition, you probably know burnout in your life. And so I feel like there's that equal sense of really allowing us, to bring more light in, to bring more of these epiphanies, and to bring more of this healing into our world, by simply focusing on our groundedness, our rootedness. The rest of us know what it is doing. These things are already opening, but can we allow it to move through? So supporting in that awakening, supporting in your sustainability of those higher level gifts, supporting in those messages that I want to move through as a vessel between worlds. And then again, on the other side, supporting with nervous system regulation and clarity in your life to make appropriate and aligned decisions. And to kind of cap all of that off, because I'm so passionate about this piece, is when you're able to be really grounded, really centered within yourself, you're able to make the decisions, and you're able to respond to relationships in your life, to the places around you with more compassion, with grace versus the reaction, defensiveness, protectiveness, scarcity mindset, because there's that sense of already safety here. So you can meet people with way more kindness. In our world where there's a lot of separation happening and the tugging, when you're able to show up with just centered and grounded, you're able to kind of meet opposition in a way that doesn't create a friction or a Velcro for it. It's able just to meet it, and maybe it downshifts it. So it feels super, super key and helpful for all of your decision making and really relating to the world from a higher level point of view that our world really is going to need in the next 12 to 18 months in particular. So how can you become more grounded and come back home into you? We're going to talk about 3 ways that are accessible to you right now during this video with me and or afterwards. And you don't have to pay a bunch of money to do this. You have the power within you. You have the power within you to reclaim this sense of centering in your life. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is breath. For me, breath is an incredible anchor. It's not everyone's jam, but we're just going to talk about it because it can be a great pathway for people. So you can play it here with me and just say, okay, go ahead and take a deep breath into your heart, into your belly, into your body. Good. Take 2 more breaths into your body. And letting it go, and one final one, inhaling it in. Beautiful. And the beautiful thing is like, okay, when I just guided you, again, we're looking at my little remote, or England, we call them zappers. Okay, so as you're focusing on your breath, your awareness, which was drifting out here, probably watching me, thinking about your day or whatnot, every breath you took, that awareness was coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in, until it fully landed back into you. And that is the beautiful thing is, if you're in that stressful meeting, you're with that coworker that like riles you up, you're with your partner, kind of having a kerfuffle, you're with your kids, it takes practice. That is the thing with spiritual gifts, tools. They take a musculature as much as, it takes time for us to do bicep curls to build biceps. So using your breath as an anchor, really feeling it in your body, is immediately helping to bring your awareness back home into you, which is going to help your root chakra also opening up, that thing at the base of your spine that is going to connect you to the earth below. Again, the greater stabilizing factor, bigger than you, that you can really feel and sink into that support too. So breath, number 1, accessible, feel it, let it go, do 1 to 3 breaths. It's going to help you recenter. All right. Number 2 is also body awareness, physical body awareness. When we're in states of like kind of that fight or flight, we're kind of in a higher stress state, people's energy tends to kind of go up into their head and get a little like ping-pongy, and you get a little erratic. And I psychically see people kind of floating in their space, not centered and grounded. And so when you're bringing that physical body awareness of like, okay, with me right now, rubbing your little fingertips together, or doing like a little shoulder roll if that feels appropriate. Everyone has different physical body abilities, needs, what feels good. But what does it feel like right now as you're wiggling your fingers, rubbing your little finger pads together? Can you bring your awareness and drift it down into those little finger pads? Mine maybe feel a little bit sticky. There's a little bit of grittiness. I just had some pickles before this. Maybe there's a little sticky. Maybe they're like super buttery smooth. As you're bringing your awareness into the experience of your physical body, again, it's helping to bring your awareness back into you. And sometimes it'll take a little bit of time, especially if you're in a higher state of stress and overwhelm. Literally, you can be at that meeting. Things are going a little crazy. Can you maybe even feel like your hands like rubbing your leg, and just kind of tune into that for like 5 to 10 to 15 seconds? That immediately is going to help your nervous system drop back down. So any place you can bring physical body awareness. For me, the physical movement kind of helps our mind get out of a pattern, kind of going to stress, and it helps to disrupt it. It's kind of like if a dog is like chasing a squirrel and you like throw a ball, it's going to help kind of break that patterning. and they'll be able to open up. So the actual movement will help, but you can also use physical body awareness like right now. You can bring your awareness, let's bring them to the lobes of your ears. You can drift your awareness into the lobes of your ears. How often do you do that in a day? Probably not much, but bringing awareness to your lobes, to your eyebrows, again, it's bringing you back home to you. So find a place in your body that feels comfortable. There might be parts of your body that are in pain, that might be uncomfortable, and it might be like, physical body awareness feels tougher. But can you find a place in your body that feels neutral and or that just feels powerful? Bring your awareness to it. Right, that second point for helping you to ground. Let's talk about the third point here. And for me, we're shifting it into physical body movement, especially in nature. For me, hiking, walking, biking, everyone is going to have their different desires. Again, their different needs, different accessibilities. But for me to have this engagement of movement, especially in nature, is immediately allowing the body to process, to move out any like extra stored energy, what people sometimes call anxiousness or depression. And you're being able to be immersed in like the energetic codes, the ecosystems of nature, which are going to really support you more naturally to ground. It's almost like there are these like little whispers, like these like tentacles from the roots from nature that's like, hey, slow it down a little bit. We've got you. We've got you. Lean into our support here. So for me, really being able to, one, have that physical body movement, have that engagement is going to, again, disrupt that overthinking, that energy that's stuck up here, and it's going to bring the energy back down in you. And then you're also going to be able to be connecting with the wisdom, the ecosystem of nature, which naturally is encoded to be grounded, to have more stabilization. And then your body, it's like a child who's in a dysregulation state, who is crying. When they have a parent who is grounded and stable and secure, just kind of, facing them, kind of being with them, the child is going to attune to the nervous system of that parent. And so that's the same when we go to nature or these places, that feel more wild to us. We are attuning to that more wise, stable state. So for me, it is my maintenance, especially doing psychic work and all the people I work with, to really help continue to keep myself grounded, really help with my nervous system, especially as an empath. Nature is my go-to for maintenance of my well-being. And also in those times in a high state of stress, overwhelm, sometimes when other things feel inaccessible to ground. My tools, I just go to nature to kind of that emergency grounding and bringing me back home to me. So those are my three kind of favorite go-tos: breathwork, have that physical body awareness, and to have that physical body movement, especially in nature. And if you can't get to nature, that's a-okay. You can do yoga in your home, you can stretch in your home, you can be with your plant, any little plant, any little micro, if it's a weed, a flower, it's going to give off that kind of different essence of grounding. So play with that, let me know how it goes. We're going to continue this series of grounding, how to support yourself grounding in a time of great change, a revolution, a renaissance in our world, and keep exploring. What does it mean to you to ground in these days? And the last thing that I hear from my guides to share with you all is to have curiosity with all this, to have the playfulness with, how do I feel safe today? How do I feel, how do I want to ground? Is it cooking that makes you feel supported? Is it run? Is it stretching? Whatever it is, can you bring more curiosity to what does it feel like to understand safety, home in your body these days, and to not feel shame that you don't understand or you're not already there. We're continually in process, and we're moving through some great changes. So have compassion and curiosity. And let me know how it goes. Comment. Let me know if you have any questions below about any of these practices, what grounding is to you. And I'm excited to continue on this journey with you. Again, I'm Hannah Saunders with Fluid Roots Wellness. It's been an honor and joy to connect with you all today. Blessings.